Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting show on the African Duchess Show with your host Rumbi Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. Today we're going to talk on the issue as to why locals fail to celebrate their own, and we are joined by a young man who is quite passionate about what he does. I'm sure you all know what he does and who is who. He goes by the name Q Montana. He's from Zimbabwe as well. So, Q, can you just introduce yourself to everyone today?
Thank you, Rumbi. My name is Q Montana. I'm a musician and a businessman. I've been in the music industry, I think, for the last 18 years. This is my 18th year doing music professionally. Though I started doing music at the age of 7, I recorded with many bands, performed locally, internationally with many bands as well, at music festivals, I've done tours. I've got, I think, about 6, 7 music albums to date. I've done lots of collaborations. Yeah, so I think that's my main line of work, music. And on the side, I do have some other business projects that I do.
Okay. All right. The kind of music that you do, what type of music or the genre that you're into?
Okay, so I major in Afro pop. It's a mixture of a lot of African grooves, different genres, but there's always that Africanness to it, because that is what I understand more. I'm African, and even though I've got exposure working with different African artists, I still maintain that Zimbabwean feel to my music. And I think maybe also it's because I work with a lot of Afro pop artists and Afro jazz artists. That's why I chose this genre.
Okay, that's all right. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
So, if you're tuning in on the show, this is the African Duchess Show with your host, Rumbi Zopa, and the topic for today is why locals fail to celebrate their own. Okay, Q, I understand you are an artist and also a businessman in Zimbabwe, and me and you both, we are part of the locals, but I understand we've it takes a lot to get your name out there, especially in your own country, in your own at your own home. So what is going on? What is happening in our country? Because I understand at times you have to work so hard. You have to overwork just to get your name on the top, and the people locally say that they don't appreciate or they don't see. Like right now, I'll give an example. Burna Boy just released a new album. You'd be surprised, almost half of the country they know that, and yet we have artists locally in Zimbabwe who are doing the same, but people will not appreciate their music. People will not even sacrifice 5 minutes of their day just to listen to our local artists, to people who are brewed from Zimbabwe. Rather, they would rather spend the whole day, spend the whole week concentrating on people from outside. So I don't know, from your experience as well as an artist, have you experienced this, or you haven't as yet?
Well, look, I've experienced this obviously because I've actually worked really hard to get to where I am. I'm not there yet. Whether it's in the music industry or in the business world, in the corporate world. But I think it's not solely a problem with Zimbabwe per se. I think this happens in a lot of countries. There are so many factors that I'm hoping we can cover today that cause that to happen. But I think there are two main reasons why that this happens. Firstly, it's because obviously people fail to celebrate other people because of negative character traits which people have. We'll maybe delve into that later in the show. But then
Okay.
the other reason, which I find to be the main factor, is that it's about lack of exposure. It's about a culture that is brewed within a society not to appreciate people, and it's also about the environment. You know, because for example, if you grow up in a society where you appreciate the success of other people, if you grow up in a family, it actually boils down to what happens in your family. You see, if your sister or your brother becomes a success story, if you cannot celebrate the success of someone else without you being involved directly, if you cannot just clap hands for someone who's done better than you, it will become difficult for you to appreciate someone else from another family or someone else doing the great things in your country. So yeah, personally, I've done things which I felt that look, it's worth celebrating, and the people that you think will celebrate you will never celebrate you. But it's surprising that when you go to another country or you've got music that is appreciated in another country, the way that you're treated there, the way that they receive your music is a lot different from those that surround you. You know, you would expect your friends, your family to be the people who support you more than everyone else. But the surprising thing is that it's strangers, it's people that don't know you that will recognize your talent, that will see your potential and will want to support your dreams more than the people that are close to you.
Okay, yes. Q, I agree with you on that. Um, some of the things you were mentioning, I've experienced them as well because I'm also a model from Zimbabwe, and there are times when people that you call your own, they will not go out to support you. It can be maybe in terms of votes, in terms of whatnot. People are outside are the ones who actually believe in you, who actually drive you to the furthest. But you tend to say that the people that you call your own, they won't be there. And also at
Mhm.
times, like you're in the music industry. You can be, let's say you're an uprising artist, right? Even before you go up, people will bring you down. Like the negativity is just so much, and it all goes
Mhm.
back, like you were saying, to how someone grew up, and also their mindset in general, because there are people who just solely survive on bringing down others. It gives them so much
Mhm.
happiness. It gives them um I don't know, maybe self-worth. I don't know, maybe they sleep better at night knowing they have belittled someone. So yeah,
Mhm.
I really get what you're saying. So you mentioned that there are two main reasons. So maybe we
Mhm.
can start off with the first section of the reasons, whereby people, just because of their negative character or just being people who are out to get others. Maybe you can
Mhm.
try and dwell on that as to why um, people are always out to get others, and some of the traits that you can see that this is a bad habit or a negativity that people want to portray onto others as well.
Okay. Thank you, Ruby. Okay. So, from what I've seen and realized over years, in my experience being an artist, You know, the one thing which drives me, which drives a lot of artists, trust me, and a lot of business people, is that to be successful takes a lot of courage. For you to push your dreams, for you to become who you ought to be, takes a lot of courage. Like what you said, there are people that feel better when they bring down some people. That issue number one is an issue of low self-esteem in people. There are people with low self-esteem that when they see someone, becoming a success, they want to pull you down back to their level. So it's not an issue that maybe you're not the best model around, you're not the best singer around, you're not the first person to do the business that you're doing, but they're just people that are not happy to see you come out of the crowd. You see, the bottom is always overcrowded, but the top has very few people. It's very lonely up there. And the reason why it's lonely is because there are all these people with what they call the PhDs, the pull him downs or pull her downs. So what happens is it's an issue of low self-esteem, where someone will not celebrate someone because they feel that this person is better than me. So the moment they have it's more or less like in their circles. As long as you are not doing anything, you're okay. But the minute
Okay.
you try to break out and do things that are out of the box, that becomes a problem. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is actually an issue of competitiveness, where people begin to compete. They always want to be the center of attention. They want to be the ones being talked about. The minute that someone else is being talked about, you start saying, Rumbi has done this and you have not done it yourself. That becomes an issue. So you even find that even amongst siblings at times, that you'll be having siblings trying to do something, instead of complimenting each other and pushing each other up, they begin to compete. So once you have that character trait in someone, the minute they go out there in the corporate world, or they are just out there in society, they actually exhibit those character traits. Another issue, obviously, is just mere jealous. That someone is doing something that I can't do. Instead of celebrating, they want to pull that person down, and not want to celebrate, or support. That's because of jealous. And it's very sad that so many African brothers and sisters actually don't believe in themselves. There's an issue of looking down upon each other, where if it's a fellow Zimbabwean, a fellow South African, a fellow Ghanaian, a fellow whatever race country you're from, as long as it's a person thinking of something, they can never celebrate that. But what I know is that it's not really an African issue per se. If you go back down to history books, you look at people that invented the automobile, what we know now as the car. If you go, you check out the Wright brothers. When they were inventing the plane, they also faced the same things, where as long as you are in a community and people view you and they get too used to you, whenever you now present something new, they will look down upon you, and not want to celebrate you. I think it's a culture norm. I really don't know if there's a scientific explanation to it or anything like that. But what I know is that it's always easy for you to go to a foreign place, start something, and become successful than doing it locally, simply because a lot of people will just look down upon you.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you for that. When you mentioned the issue of competitiveness, right? We
Mhm.
have, I will not mention names, but we have artists locally who name shame each other, be it on social media, on various platforms. And we also have, let's say, people who've been in the industry for quite a long time, who find time and pleasure in bringing down the uprising, the young artists, What's your take on that? Is it what should be done, or they should be bringing them up? They should be nurturing the young, talented artists. What is really is going? What really do you support that, or are people just expressing their views, or what's going on? Should it be like that?
Okay.
Yeah,
It's quite sad. I think whenever you see an artist or whenever you see someone who has time to try to bring someone down, that actually shows that the artist is not as good. Because a real artist or a real model, anyone who's successful in whatever field, whether it's in sports or anything, you really don't have time to devise ways and means to bring someone else down, because you'll be concentrating on your own lane. I know for a fact that there are some artists that pay DJs to say don't play anyone with a genre that can surpass mine. There's this artist and that artist, don't play them, make sure you play my music, things like that. I've seen them happening. I've seen people going on social media on decampaigning other artists and things like that. It's very common. But you see, here is the thing which everyone needs to realize, that the pie is too big. There's no need for me to be fighting the next person, because there are billions of people around the world. And when I'm releasing my music, I'm not just releasing for Harare or for Zimbabwe only. I'm just releasing it for the world. And there's no way that I can say, if you also come and you take your chunk of the pie, I won't have a market to sell music. So it's people that have got little minds. It's people that actually don't really believe in their own art. It's people that are just trying out things that don't really have what it takes, and they look for other means. You see, because good work speaks for itself. I don't really need to fight someone else. And to be quite honest, I'll speak personally. During the day, I was just saying, I just got home, I think about, a few minutes just before this show. I'll be busy the whole day. You see, I don't really have time. I wish I could have 35 hours every single day just to focus on my own projects and my own music and my own business. But it's so sad that you get someone who even finds 30 minutes or an hour to plan against someone. That just shows that there's something wrong with whatever it is that you're doing. You're actually not in the right lane yourself.
that's true. That is very true. Okay.
Mhm.
There's also another issue. I don't know if it's tuned into South African radio channels or radio networks. When you tune into those channels, you see that they'll be playing music by their artists, like the South Africans and all. It's the same for every other channel out there. They really play music from their artists because they want to spread the word. They want to share. They are celebrating. They are proud of the music that they are playing, whether the content is crap, whether it's good, but they will just play it because at the end of the day, they are pushing volumes. They are appreciating the talent of their artists. But I've noticed in Zimbabwe, we it's not a bad thing to appreciate artists from other countries, but you tend to see that the music that plays, be it on various channels, be it on various radio networks, it's like we are now supporting um other artists outside our country. Why is that? Is it that we don't believe in our artists? What really is going on? Because at times there's like a I don't know if it's Star FM or ZFM, I don't know, between the two. On a Sunday they take like 2 hours, 1 to 2 hours in the morning to play love songs, and you tend to see it's either Backstreet or other international artists, you name them. And then at times they won't even play maybe love songs from Zimbabwe? Are we not capable to play, do we not have love songs in our country? Why do we not channel our energy, our strength towards our own artists, be it crappy, be it like I was saying, be it crappy, be it good content, be it what? Why are we not channeling efforts towards them? Because at the end of the day, we want to give these people a market. So if we can't accept their music locally, what more about the international world? Why do we not play their music on our local radio networks, on our local radio channels?
Mhm. Okay. My view on that is that there are a lot of things that are wrong on so many levels. What you just mentioned is just one symptom that there's something wrong with the whole system.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's just like someone who's just having a headache, but you can't really just address the headache because you actually have to find what's causing the headache. Media obviously is a very powerful platform. I think I mentioned on, I think it's on the number two side of thing, causes, or rather, things that cause people not to celebrate others. And I mentioned that there's an issue of society, there's an issue of culture, and the environment. You see, there are so many countries that have realized that for you to celebrate your own, you actually have to make people understand that, this is what we call success, this is what we call good. So if I'm growing up and someone defines to me that, music from South Africa, or music from the United States, or music from Germany is what we call the best music, and
Hmm.
local music is not really as nice, you see, it will become difficult for that person, to later on appreciate, local stuff, because as far as they know, it's more, it's more prestigious to be listening to foreign music than local music. So in their bid to want to fit in a society of elite people, they end up trying to be, listening to foreign music. So that's why I said some of these things start from family setup. It goes into the community, it goes into the whole society, and it actually goes into the whole nation as a whole. So in terms of what happens in these broadcasting stations, you actually find that there's a time when, I'll use a case study of Zimbabwe because we are talking about it. There's a time when there was a law was passed, and they said it's now 100% local content. At one time, they said it's now 75% local content. And this is actually what happens in some stations, in some community stations elsewhere, and some national stations elsewhere in other countries. So what ends up happening is that, there are the major, platforms that push or shape up societies, and media, obviously radio and TV, are the most powerful. So when you have people in places of authority that don't realize that they're actually shaping up the minds of people, and then they're actually affecting how their locals are seen. I'll give you an example. I remember somewhere along my career as a musician, there was a time when, yes, I was topping the charts and everything, but in terms of influence, I was not as influential as, I would have wanted to be. But at that same time, when in our country I wasn't being recognized that much. I was invited to perform at a SADC summit. You see, SADC is big. There are a lot of presidents there. I remember, I sat right next to the former president of Zambia, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, and I performed for him because he had requested that. So I was thinking about it the day I was just sitting next to him, and the event was being broadcasted live on national TV, and I'm thinking that, look, if I was in my country, I don't think I was going to be even getting this kind of attention, you know. But
Mm.
I'm getting it elsewhere. I had Delta, I had a lot of companies, sponsoring my tour in Zambia. Yet when I was touring in Zimbabwe, they were not supporting as much. I got signed in South Africa, to big labels there. I was endorsed there, and all of these things, because they were appreciating the music. But at the same time, when I was getting those deals right in my own country, I didn't have deals as lucrative as that. You see, so these are some of the things that I'm saying, that it also boils down to who are the major players that affect the culture in a country, that are
Mm,
affecting the perception of the celebrities. The simple things as stories that you actually read in the newspaper. There's a time when, whenever you read a story in the newspaper, it's not celebrating an artist, but they are happy to write about artists that are now languishing in poverty, or a headline that you just see on selling the newspaper is, the once famous singer is now selling tomatoes on the street. That's what they
mm.
put in the front. They won't put a story that says Q Montana has been signed by a big label. It won't be in the front. So these are some of the dynamics that actually shape the mentality of people in a nation as well.
Okay. That's really sad, because um I don't know why we enjoy publishing things like that. But well, journalists will argue that bad publicity sells. But at the end of the day, um, what the things that they write, they create this perception in people's minds. Let's say, yeah, Q, you start selling tomatoes and all. It's like, I don't know, people, the way they will start looking at your music or at you as an artist, it's like they're now feeling sorry for you. They now feel pity. Even when it comes to your music, someone can just stop listening to your music just because of what the media published. And I don't think
Mhm,
it's right, but well, it's happening. And
mhm.
also, I want to ask you on the issue of content creation. When it comes to music, when it comes to arts, who, like the content? Are our artists considering the content that they're putting out there? Because we understand when you sing or when whatever you write or whatever you're pursuing, I think everything should bring positive change to someone. Um, I'll give an example of Oliver Mtukudzi. For every situation that you're facing, right? There was a song you would relate to. Let's say, like the song Nelia, Nelia. I'm not a good singer. So,
Mm.
but but you can relate. Like the songs you would sing, you can relate to every situation that you're going through. Be it when you're so happy, be it when you're down, you can relate. And that's some good content that he created, and even now people still sing to his songs because of the content, of the quality of the lyrics that he had. But then with the rising artists now, do do people actually think through this, some of the lyrics they write? Because I understand these are the songs our little sisters, our little brothers, our children are listening to. And music has such a great impact on someone's behavior or traits. So you can imagine if you put it out there like vulgar or swearing, and um, when you make everything sexual, about when everything becomes sexual, we're talking about, we want to preserve the generation of tomorrow, but the content that's out there, hey, what's going on? The content, I'm not talking about Zimbabwe only. This is something that is
Mhm.
happening globally. It's happening in Africa, it's happening in Europe. What is happening to the content? Where did we lose it? Because we want our music to bring change. You can't bring change to me by swearing throughout the song, or by telling me about uh, like the private parts and things like that. Like what's happening with our content? Because maybe people are not listening because of the content that we are putting out there.
Okay. There's I'll comment in two ways here.
Okay.
Firstly, you mentioned that you were just talking about journalists. You said bad publicity sells. I'll be honest with you. If you sing love songs, if you sing dirty lyrics and all of that, it's quite easy to just get attention like that. But here's the
Mm,
thing. You see, yes, musicians are there to make money. Some are there for other reasons. But there's also another side to it, that there's this thing called social responsibility. Whether you are in music, whether you are into business, whether you're a journalist or anything, there has to be a balance between you looking for money or you trying to push your career up. And then you actually have to know that I have a responsibility to build up a nation. You see, so when artists are writing songs, um, obviously you want to entertain people, obviously you want to make money, but also at the same time you realize that I've got influence. You see, so I what I say matters. So when I've got people's ears, there's a saying that says, "Whoever has your ear has your future." If you want to know what your future is going to be like, just follow who you're listening to. You see, then you can
mm,
actually know what your future is going to be like. So, obviously, artists have a responsibility to make sure that the content that they are bringing out builds a nation, because subconsciously, whether you like it or not, the fact that I have people that follow me, whether it's 10 people, 100 people, 1,000, or 1,000,000 people that follow me, if I start, that this is the reason why you have celebrities becoming brand ambassadors for products or any cause. It's because their opinion matters. So if that's the case, what that means is that, if you're in a place where what you say matters, then you actually have to be very careful about the content that you bring out. You have to think it through before you just bring it out. And the other thing now, sadly, is that the reason why you actually have a lot of bad music coming out, it's actually because the real musicians who are supposed to be playing are actually not playing. The real music that you're supposed to be listening to is actually not what you're listening to, because what's happening now is that money is driving everything. So a person with a lot of talent but who is not backed up financially will never be able to get the music out there. And then on the other side, you get someone who's half talented but with a lot of financial backup. And then that person is pushed up. So what happens is now that those people are quick to reach a ceiling. That's why you see that there are a lot of one hit wonders that come about. And then, if you really check, there are a lot of artists who are just there in the industry for a long time, but they never really bad out.
mm,
It's because they don't have the resources, they don't have the means. I'll be honest with you, after having spent thousands of dollars, trying to come up with a good album, an artist will barely make it to record an album, pay musicians, producers, and all of that. So by the time they get to the radio station, they can barely get there with their CD, which is properly packaged, because their resources are almost finished. And then you get DJs who say that I can't play if you haven't paid me. So what happens now is that the person has no option but to just hold the music, and at the same time you get a half-baked musician with a lot of money, or a lot of financial backup, who comes now, pays the DJ, and music is played out. So at the end of the day, now you start thinking that maybe we don't have a lot of good musicians with good content. The content is there, but they are it's the channels that are bringing out music which are not doing justice to the industry.
okay, Q. Thank you for that. Do you have any artists that you love from Zimbabwe? Maybe you could just name them, or any type of music that really inspires you from the local talent that we have here.
Yeah, obviously, look, as for me, I appreciate a lot of musicians. because what I believe is that every musician is unique. The fact that a person has following means that they have something to offer that someone else doesn't. But as for me, I think maybe I'm more biased towards the people that I've worked with. Some that are late, some that are still alive. The likes of the late Andy Brown. I worked with
Mm.
him for a long time. I understand his music quite well. People like Tango Kwasando, I worked with him. He groomed me. I worked with Africa Revenge. Alexio Kawara. I've worked with Knox. I've worked with Extra Large. They're quite a long list, really. But in every artist, I've come to realize that when I listen to Alec Bachesu, he's got something to offer. When I was listening to Simon Chimbetu, he's got a lot to offer as well. Or he had a lot to offer. So yeah, I do appreciate a lot of music that I listen to. And even some artists that I do listen to Enzo, Aisha at times, just because like what I said in the beginning, that as long as an artist has a following, it means they have something that they've brought to the market which is
Mm.
worth listening to, because so that's how I actually follow other musicians, not just locally. You'll be surprised that some are my friends, yes, internationally. Some are people that I just follow. I follow people like Loko Kanza in DRC. I follow, Bambino, Sekuba Bambino in West Africa. I follow Bruno Migliari from Brazil. I follow a lot of artists. The whole idea is to just pick up, stuff that other people are doing and learn from that.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you for that, Q. Thank you for that.
Mhm.
Okay, if you're tuning in, this is the African Duchess Show with Rumbi Zaim Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. We're just going to go into a short commercial break, and we're going to play a song that is really trending in our country, from our local artists, that is The Rising Tammy and Ja Praiser. I don't know if you've heard the song Kutera.
All right. I haven't had the privilege of listening to it, but I would love to listen to it.
All right, that's all right. So let me just share the screen with everyone.
Johnny Wana, Johnny Wana ndiri mumzira mangwana. Ukafunga kundikanya, uchanetswa ndichidza merekachana. Rodney Deeds. Don't wanna be away from you. I'm looking at your lover too. I'm hurting but I keep my cool, boo. Dabaye kanane shungu. Don't like it but you're my addiction. You're with the body's not your intention. Oh no, that is my prediction. Did I mention? Did I mention? Tell it. When you sing me, you know better. Out of the words, you know better. I want to kind of say it. I swear that love is in the air. Wherever you go, you will find me ndaipinda mumakore ndataza kukanganwa uchawana ndati pachapachari mangore ayayaenda mutimana ndini nanga ndati takarazimanewe takatokerawo mwana takaramuzatikazikanewe zvinobaya unge bamwa zvino ndinobona mune ino nyika yerefa ndaita muranda mwewaonamira msine msine onamira msine msine Chodiwana ngiri mumzira mungwana ukafunga kundikanya uchaninza ndichiridza mereka chana dzimwe nguva rudo runokundangomagurira uchandiona rimwe zuva zvichidanenarinazarudo rimwe zuva dzimwe nguva rudo runokundangomagurira uchandiona rimwe zuva pakuguma zvichidanenarinazarudo ndichakuona rimwe zuva magumo ndinoenda zvinoda moyo muchena vanakati andichada ngaitore vanema
Okay, so that is the trending song from our local artists here in Zimbabwe. Kutera, they were saying in English, they were saying, "I'll follow you to the ends of the earth." Okay, so that's Tammy, right? She's one of the youngest growing artists in Zimbabwe. We need from the female side. And what's your take on the growth in terms of the women who are singing in our country? Do we have women who are really going out there, or steadily they're progressing, or you feel that there's need for women really to really try out their chance and their luck in the music industry?
All right. I think there's been a steady rise in terms of women that are coming up. I know the music industry, especially in Zimbabwe, is very much male dominated.
That's true.
But I think over the years we've seen people that have managed to make a mark, and they are females. I think it's also something that can be attributed to maybe the culture in our country. I know, like now, people are softening up to females that say, I want to do music as a career. It hasn't been easy for the males as well. It's not like it's been easy for males. For one, I when I started doing music, I was studying medicine in my second year. Then I dropped out to pursue music professionally. That didn't go down well with a lot of people in our society. Family understood. I think that's why it was easy for me. But some people later understood it was after so many years. But during that time, I faced a lot of criticism why I did that. And I know for a fact it's the same thing that a lot of people face who are females when they come out and they say, I want to do music professionally. It's not as easy. And in terms, there are other predators as well that are just waiting to pounce on new female artists in the industry. That's another downside to it. But then, but when you look at how some other female artists are actually excelling, and actually doing things that other male artists are not able to do. It's something that's worth commending. It's very commendable, yes.
Okay, thank you for that cue. So, at the beginning of the show, you mentioned that as to why we do not support local talent, you mentioned a second class of reasons. Maybe you could try and elaborate on that. What were you referring to?
Okay. I think the other second class of reasons why people fail to celebrate their own are classified under things which I might tend to be innocent. Reasons why these things happen. Like for example, it's not really that someone has bad characteristics. But there are issues, to do. First of all, major among the causes is that it's actually lack of understanding. Like why should you celebrate another person? Someone, it's something that you can actually think it's obvious, but it's actually not so obvious. um, you know there are some people who actually don't see the reason why you should just support someone or celebrate someone. For example, if you have not grown in an environment where you were just told to just clap hands for someone who would have done well, just for the sake of making that person to feel appreciated or to encourage them to do more, because these are the reasons why we celebrate people anyway. To just say we appreciate you, we want you to do more, and to create this sort of environment around people. You see, if you are singing, if you are doing modeling, if you are doing anything, whether it's sports or anything, and you are surrounded by people that constantly tell you that you can do it, those words are very important for you, because there are times where everyone else feels drained. So it's just like it's those glorious moments that when you are starting to feel faint, when you actually don't have the energy to push, you just remember that, you know what, I actually modeled and I was at Miss World. I actually flew to this country and I did this, or I actually played at a very big stage. So if I could play it then I actually can do it. Or if you remember just some comments, there are some people that just inbox me randomly at times, and they can say, I'm just listening to your music. I was feeling very low, but after listening to your music, I'm feeling much better. Or there are just people that say, you know what, I know there are a lot of artists, but you do it for me. Like if I just listen to your music, then my day is just good, like that. So sometimes when maybe you are not getting paid enough, maybe a lot of things are not going well, and you feel like throwing in the towel, you start thinking of those people, and then it's that thought that says, I can't let these people down. I'm inspiring some people. So if someone doesn't have understanding why it's important to celebrate their own, they will actually pass you, and then later, say that, I actually noticed that there's a funny culture in people where they brag about meeting popular people and not recognizing them. I yeah, where they say, I met him, but I actually didn't know it's him. I just said hi, and then I moved, and they said, I think I know that guy. Or, some people who actually meet you, know you as a celebrity, but they will ignore you, and then later tells another person that, I met so and so today. It's actually lack of understanding that does that. And then there's also lack of exposure, where you actually don't know that for other artists that we are celebrating here, it's their own. That, and I like this thing about the United States of America, in that whatever they do, they call it the world's best. If they do their own wrestling and someone wins, they say that's the world champion. If anything that they do, because they've understood the whole concept that once you push your brand, once you make people to actually understand that you are great as a nation, when you push a dream, as a nation, everyone else ends up buying to it. That's why, our charts even here. Neo doesn't, or Beyonce, they don't need to come here and say, can you please play my music? That influence now comes to us because they built that as a nation. So if any African country is going to have that sort of influence, the people must have that exposure to say, oh, okay, so this is how these people do it. So whenever you're now producing music, whenever you are doing whatever it is that you're doing, you export your own to the rest of the nations, and say these are the world's best. If you are into sports, you produce your own soccer player, brand that person as the world's best soccer player. No one can stop you. So when you have that kind of exposure to know how other people are doing it, then that becomes an issue. The other issue, which is beyond some other people's control, I think this issue has to do with sort of justifying people, is that some people actually don't have resources, in as
True.
much as they want to support people. They want to celebrate their own, but look, I understand that there are people with bread and butter issues to really think about. So, in as much as I may want to come and celebrate you when you have a high profile event somewhere, I might not afford to. I might want to be there, but I can't afford the ticket. So, when someone doesn't have those kind of resources, financial resources, you may think that they don't just want to support, but look, they actually don't have resources to support. So these are some of the reasons that, I know now, some people stopped buying CDs or buying music, not because they don't want to support, but it's because they want to buy bread. So the first thing that you think about is, am I feeding the people in my family first before I can go and pay a ticket at someone else's show? So you see, so there are economic factors that affect as well. But then there are some things which you don't need to pay for. You don't need money to just tell me that you're good. You know so there's two sides to that issue of resources, where there are some things that you can just um, you know um, just celebrate someone easily. So society and environment, I will say this again, that society and environment, the way people grow up, the way their culture is built about, the way their environment is just tailor made either to support them or not to support them, has a strong bearing in terms of how people in that very same environment behave, and how people are celebrated in that environment. So that those are the other side of reasons why people fail to celebrate other people.
Okay, thank you for that input. Also, we have various ways of getting around this, like being an artist, being a musician. I understand there are some people who have a management team, and there are artists who don't have like a management team and all. Don't you think that you have a better chance of getting the exposure you need? You have a better chance of pushing volume. You have a better chance of being known out there when you have also a very good management team. Because I understand if your manager doesn't know how to source gigs, to manage you as an artist, because you need management as well. Because some of the artists, the way they behave, you can tell that they do not have a manager or someone who's controlling what they are doing at the end of the day, because you don't just want to sing music, you also want to that talent of yours to provide food for you as well at the end of the day. But then when you
Mhm.
don't have good management, when you're not um, being nurtured or under someone's stewardship, you tend to see that Also, it can also affect your music. It can even also affect your health, because I understand when you start singing, you start getting a lot of fame, a lot of attention. It can be women, it can be men coming from all ends of the corners. But when you don't have, as an individual, you might not have control. Um, you might not be able to control the fame, the popularity, being a popular, being a celebrity, being and whatnot. But when you are under someone's stewardship, or when you have a very strong, good management, the management, they will tell you, you know what, you can't do this to our brand. You can't do this because you're messing up with our money. You're messing up with our with our profits. You're messing up with this. But when you don't have management now, um, you are not exposed to so many things, and you can't really have, um because I understand as well that people, they want to have direct control as to their monies, as to their bookings. But you can't be a jack of all trades. You can't have control over everything. At the end of the day, also, you need people who are looking out for you. So how is that? What's your take on that? Do you think you can live without a manager when it comes to the music industry, and you can flourish on your own? If not, then what's your take on that when it comes to good management as well?
Okay. You are very correct there, 100%. Management is very important if you are to have a solid music career, or whatever career that you're into, um, especially if it has to do with entertainment or things like that. Okay, so I think the reason why a lot of artists struggle is that they get into an industry and they are ill-equipped. They get into an industry, yeah, a lot of people become celebrities, or let's say famous, without having their mind prepared for it. I'll be honest with you. I was very fortunate to get mentored by musicians who had been in the industry for a long time. So that
Mm,
gave me a lot of exposure in different, things. Firstly, when you become an artist, you actually have to know who your target market is, because
true.
music is very broad. Just because, let's say, Winky D is targeting people in ghettos and getting a lot of support there, doesn't necessarily mean that when he becomes popular, I too, if I'm singing Afro jazz, I have to go to the same crowd. So when there are some people that are just building careers out of just performing at festivals. I know one musician who once told me that, look, I'm booked for the next 3 years, but this person that I'm talking about was just performing at music festivals in different countries around the world, not as popular as some other musicians in his own country, but he was making a lot more. There are some musicians that just dedicate their whole career into doing soundtracks for movies, and that's it.
Okay.
There are some musicians that get in the industry and they just want to teach music to other people. They become music teachers. That's another industry. So now, when you have your management, your career is your business. Music is a business. So now, when you get into that industry, you now need the management that says, okay, so what is the whole vision of the business? What are we trying to achieve? And then how do we get there? Then you set up your goals in place. You say to say, if we want to be the most popular in Zimbabwe, this is how we're going to approach it. But if we are not really concerned about being very popular, we want to make more money in this genre, this is going to be our approach. And then you actually need to employ people with the right skills, who know how to do either marketing, who know how to do your administration well, who know how to manage your finances. Because remember, you're not going to be singing your whole life. You actually need to prepare You have your investments in place for after the time that you're going to retire, and all of that in place. So now
Mm,
your management team is very important. You need to have a business advisor. Just think of someone just running a company. You are that company. So the same way in that companies employ people to manage a product. In this case, you are the product. Your music is the product. So you definitely need to have a team of people that you work with that direct you to say this is what we're going to do. They must have deliverables. They must have goals. You have your goal settings, documents that you actually say, look, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, in the next 4 years, this is where we want to be. So you can't do that alone. In as much as, I'll be honest with you, I can play different instruments, guitar, pianos, drums, and all of that. I'm a music producer. I edit videos. I actually do animation, cartoons, and all of that. I sing. I can do scoring and all of that. From the business perspective, I know how to do proper marketing and all of that. But I don't do all of that myself because it's not practical. Sometimes you have to outsource people that you say, okay, look, yes, we are producing this album, but you be the producer of this album. Yes, I can do marketing, but I want you to focus on marketing. Because at the end of the day, my job must just be to grab my guitar, compose a lot of music, just make sure that my creativity is high. I don't need to be thinking about numbers. I don't need to be thinking about marketing strategies. All that I need to do is to just focus on my music and how I'm gonna execute. So that's why it's very important to have managers. They are the ones that source gigs for you. They are the ones that go out there. And besides, if you're negotiating face to face with an artist, that shows a lot of unprofessionalism. But the minute that you refer people to say, talk to my management team, the whole thing changes. You see? And in fact, there are so many. When you go to first world countries, you actually cannot get a gig if you are dealing directly as an artist with the person where you're looking for for a performance from. That's why they have agencies. That's why they have management teams. That's why they are promoters. If there's a whole people in the world chain that actually have to have these jobs and doing these things. So yeah, I do agree with you. Management is very important.
okay. Thank you so much for that, Q. I
Mhm.
forgot to ask for some of your music
Mhm.
before the show. My apologies for that. So I
That's
was,
okay.
yeah. So I was just browsing through some of the songs that you have done on YouTube. Is there any
Okay.
song that you want me to play specifically before I just choose any song randomly? Which song would you like me to play?
That's a tricky one. I love all my songs. Maybe the last video that I did is called "What Do I Do."
What
If you can play that, what do I do? I think that's the last video that I did. You can maybe play that. If not, you can choose whatever you want to play.
what do I do?
Yes.
Okay, okay, that's not the one. Okay, Montana, what do I do? Okay.
So yeah, so I've got about six, 7 albums. Some are singles, and
Okay.
all my music is available on YouTube for those that want to follow. Or you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and yeah, it's just Q Montana, QUE Montana. You get a lot of my stuff there.
Q Montana, is that your real name or is the name that you use in the market? Is that your real name?
Um, no, that's my stage name.
Just
QUE
oh,
Montana.
okay,
It's what my management recommended that we use as a brand name.
okay, okay.
Mhm.
That's all right. Okay, so I just found Q Montana's song. What do I do? Is it the one that you had 6 years ago?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let me share it with the rest of everyone. So if you're joining in, this is the African Duchess Show with Rumbidzai Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. And today we have our lovely guest who goes by the name Q Montana. He's an artist and a businessman from Zimbabwe. And I'm just going to share with you the screen as so that you can see the song or music he's done. You said you are into Afro pop, right? Afro,
Yes.
okay. He's into Afro pop. So let me just share with you the screen on the song he's done. The topic of the day is why we don't support local talent. Okay, so that's the song. Let me see.
Good morning. May I help you?
Oh, hi. I'm looking for a really good guitar.
Come this way, please. We have such a huge variety. Let me show you this one. I would recommend that you try this one. There you go.
What do I do? No, you just say, yeah. No, you just say, nothing. No, you just say, go. What do I do? Tell me, what do I do? No, it just say, nothing, no, it just say, go. What do I do? Tell me, what do I do? Thinking about all the things you said, talking about what you feel inside. You told me that you miss me, girl, so much. How do I pretend you never left my side? Can I pretend you never made me cry? You told me you were better off with someone else. Now you're back. What do I do? What do I do? Tell me. Nothing, no, it just say go. No, it just say. No, it just say. Tell me, what do I do? Tell me. What do I do? Nothing, no, it just say. No, it just say. No, it just say. Nothing, no, it just say. Vakuruwe, rotaifungwa mundiraire, yakadai inoitwa sei, kana zvadai tosorova sei, handingavanze mwana ndokuda uyu, ndomurota nyangwe ndirere, akasiya banga pamoyo, kundisiya ndiri pachena, ati uya tigarisane, uya ndakatadza, kutopfira mate mugomba, ndaiona misodzi yake, ndomuita sei mwana uyo, ndomutora ndomusiya here ovakuruwe vakuruwe kana zvadai tosorova sei tell me ndati ndoita sei what do I do what do I do tell me what do I do ndoita sei ndoita sei ndati ndoita sei
Okay, so that was a song from our very own Q Montana on What Do I Do? Q, believe me, I'm quite familiar with musical instruments, and I really liked the vibe of the guitar. I love instruments so much as opposed to beats and whatnot. And
Okay,
the feel.
thank you.
What type of a guitar is that?
That's an acoustic guitar.
Acoustic, yeah, exactly that one.
Yes.
I really loved the vibe. So can you please tell us and share with everyone what the song, what was going on? It seemed like you walked in on your person cheating. What was going on?
Mhm. All right.
Yeah.
So, firstly, when we did this song, we wanted to do. I'm sure you noticed. There's a style of guitar playing which is called slapping and tapping,
Oh,
which is sort of new to this side of the world.
I
So yeah, we said, okay, why don't we try something like that? And the vibe that we got there, I decided to write a song. What do I do? Presenting a very complex situation where you might be in love with someone. Trying to have something very solid happening, but obviously a lot of complicated things happening. Cheating, obviously, which complicates everything, and then it sort of messes you up because in as much as you want to be with someone, things get a lot more complicated, and you can't be with that person. So you'll be saying, what do I do, Ndoita say, with this whole situation.
okay. Okay. Thank you for that input. Okay, let me just go through the comment section. There's Takudzwa Kufa saying this is an interesting show. Thank you for that. Okay, yeah. Is that the dude who's playing the guitar? That's from Haki. And our sister Nish was watching the video. Hell yeah, that's him. Yes, that shows real talent. Our people are very talented. Thank you, Nish. Thank you so much. Our people are really talented. He plays with a different technique than most. Yes, I was about to say that as well. I've never really heard that type of vibe, especially from people from the local artists. Okay, that is very true. People acknowledging that you play with a different type of technique than the most.
Thank you.
Supporting local, supporting local, thumbs up. Um, okay, our sister Nish again is saying, I hope Keith will play his music on the station. Okay, I hope our boss is listening and hearing to this because we
All
want
right.
to push people in the whole continent and internationally because we want um, our very own to be the ones who are dominating out there. Okay, also some people who were just greeting us on the show. Hi from Tapiwa. Hello, Tapiwa. Then good vibes. There are good vibes out there. And then from Takudzwa, hello there. And then from our sister Nish again, is yes, we should celebrate and be happy when the family is doing well, and we should celebrate local talent. That is very true. And then before this, there was a show that was going on that's hosted by my colleague from Kenya. And according to Keith, it seems Spikes was asking the same question earlier on in terms of the Kenyan music. It seems this issue we are talking about is not only happening in Zimbabwe, in Southern Africa, but it's also happening in countries like Kenya. So it's really heartwarming on realizing that these are the same issues we are facing as a continent and not just in Zimbabwe. So
Mhm.
like the old saying that there's nothing new under the sun. What you think what's happening here is the same as what is happening as well out there.
Mhm.
Peace, family, and also from Spikes, as Africans, we should embrace and celebrate one another. That is very true. Before we tap onto the music from other countries, before we tap onto music from other continents, as Africans, we should celebrate each other. And then also from Haki, Peace Family, hello Haki. Thank you all to those who were tuning in on today's show. Um, the topic on was on why we do not celebrate local talents, and we had Q Montana on the show. Q Montana is a musician and a um, businessman from Zimbabwe. Q, did you mention how old you were?
No, I did not. I'm 37.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
You know, yeah, I'll be turning 40 in a few years.
How come? Ah, okay.
I don't try to hide my age. I don't really,
But
I know what you think. I'm
you don't look
37.
your age. You are lying. You are lying to these people.
I'm telling you, I always encounter that. But believe you me, I was born in 83.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Are these like your genes? Why do you not look your age? Is it the genes from your family, or you have a certain skin routine, or fitness? What's
Well,
going
I
on?
don't know. I really wish I knew. But trust me, yeah, people say I don't look my age. But I think it's good because I stay in the game for a longer time. You know.
Oh,
Yeah, I think people are created differently. I'm just blessed like that by God. Yeah.
so you're just placed like that, and everyone else
Mm.
we are placed like that.
No, no, no. I'm by no means saying
No, I'm
I'm
joking.
just saying. Yeah, but I can't wait to get to 40 actually. That's why I keep, shouting out my age to everyone. I'm looking forward to that.
Wow. Okay. I'm shocked because ah,
Hmm.
I'm shocked. I'll come to your inbox and question you more about your age. I really
All right,
need
sure.
evidence and proof. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. You know.
So okay. Q,
Yes.
do do you have people in your corner who support your music and
Mhm.
you being a businessman? Do you have someone special in your life, or your family and you, your siblings and you?
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, obviously. I'll be honest with you, right? Like I told you, I'm 37. 30 years back, that's when I started playing the guitar. I have a brother of mine. He's a music producer in the UK now. So he's the one who taught me to play guitars, pianos, and things like that. And I think I was very fortunate to be, to grow up in a very musical family. I do have siblings that sing as well. Sorry, one of my brothers he has music of his own. I've got my other cousin. Her name is Tarirone Gitare. She's got a music as well.
Tarone
She's my
Guitar is your cousin.
yeah, that's my cousin sister. Our moms are sisters.
Oh wow.
I've got another brother, another uncle of mine. He's a music producer. One of my other cousins was in the States, working with Quincy Jones and all of that. So it's more or less like what you find in our family. So some of the things that I think that sort of made it easy for me to be accepted as a musician in our family. So the support was great because I'm coming from that sort of family background. Obviously, I do have a lot of people that support me now, friends, special people. um, yeah, and I've got two little boys that are very supportive. Their names
Oh,
are Brandon and Bradley.
okay.
You know, yeah, yeah, and Von Monty as well. She supports me a lot.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Um,
those are the people that are in my corner. Yes.
okay. And your immediate family, like your parents, do they support
Mhm.
you as well?
Yeah, yeah. My mom is very supportive. My dad passed on, but he was very supportive. Both of them would come to my live performances. And even right now, I know, like when I'm having interviews like this, or when I'm on TV or anything, they're the first people that are there to support me. If I'm doing something online, they are the first people to log in and support, which is something that is very encouraging. At times it's those small little things, even if the whole world doesn't appreciate you, and the very few people that are very close to you that matter to you most, if they just applaud at something that you're doing, that really means a lot. And it's those people that understand your highs and your lows. So when those people come to you and say, you can do it, go for it, that really means a lot. And like what I was saying, that when I dropped doing medicine and I said I want to pursue music, my immediate family embraced that. They said, no, you can do it, it's fine, because we have seen already that what you've done. And it was around that time when we were doing playing, for the music that was coming on, Roy and Royce, Plaxedis, Wenika, and all of these guys. Yeah, so it's just around the time that they were starting. That's when I also got into the music industry. Africa Revenge, Wanga, and all of that. So I think when things started to move well, and my family was very supportive, that really helped a lot.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
So when I was really commending your body, and disagreeing that you don't look like your age, there's someone from
Mhm.
the chat room who said black
Mhm.
people don't age like bananas, Ruby.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Maybe that's the, yeah.
yeah,
Well, I
that's
don't
from
know.
yeah, it's from a girl, by the way. So yeah, it seems
Oh, okay.
people are seeing what I'm seeing as well.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the reason. I really don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's about the race or anything else. I really don't know.
Mm, okay.
Mm.
Then a question from our sister Nish. She's
Yes.
asking Q, what type of business do you do?
Okay, so I've got about eight business projects that I do. I've got what's called the Monty's Diaspora Connect. It's a procurement service for people in the diaspora. I've got a school. It's called Monty's International Academy. It's got primary, secondary school, and all of that. I've got what we call Monty's supercars. We sell, cars, the nice cars, the supercars. And then I've got Monty's Entertainment, obviously, which manages my music and the other TV productions that we do for TV stations. I've got Monty's Media, which does graphic designing, video editing, sound production, animation, and all of that. We've got Monty's Fashion. It's got the men's clothing line and the women's clothing line as well. We've got Kingdom Mandate. Kingdom Mandate is more of an NGO that we are running. And then we've got Morpho. Morpho is a project that we are running. It's actually going to do the first ever Music World Cup. I know you've got your Olympics, you've got your Soccer World Cup, but there's never been a Music World Cup ever in this world, and we are doing it in 2024. So that's some of the things that we are doing.
Wow. Can you say or elaborate more on Mohofo? It sounds interesting and quite unique. I've never had of someone who'd want to have a music World Cup. Can you please elaborate on that so that our viewers can spread the world and also remember our radio network is an international platform. So if you're
Mhm.
tuning in, please do listen in on this about the music World Cup that is coming up in a few years. You don't want to miss out on this one.
Definitely. Okay, so what we are doing is that we are organizing what's potentially going to be one of the biggest music events ever, to be hosted in the world, and that's proudly African. It's a concept that I started in 2009, planning it for 2024. Reason being, it's the whole concept came from a background where I, as a musician and interacting with a lot of musicians internationally, we always wondered, there are a lot of times when we celebrate soccer teams, we're celebrating the national team for Zimbabwe, team Nigeria, team Germany, team France, and all of that. We know the Cristiano Ronaldo's through the World Cup. We know the Suarez through the World Cup. But there's never been an event where musicians get out there and they say we are making our nation proud. We are representing our nation, and the whole nation is rallying behind them. So we said, why not start our own? Look, when they do the Soccer World Cup, when they do all of these big events, they actually call the musicians to say, can you come and do a theme song? Can you come and do the opening act? Because they know the strength of music, they know the power of music. But how come there was never an event which actually celebrates musicians at that level? So what we are going to be doing is that every country is choosing its best musicians. Let's say in Zimbabwe, you take your Winky D, you take your Ja Praiser, you take your Charamba, you take whoever, and they come to become Team Zimbabwe. And then Nigeria brings, let's say, Davido, Flavor, P Square, and all of them. They become Team Nigeria. United States brings Beyonce, Asha, Lionel Richie, and whoever else, become, Team USA. And all of these artists are going to meet in one stadium, and compete so that we actually find out which country has the best musicians in the world, competing at that level. So you can imagine how many people would want to watch that. You can imagine how many TV stations would want to broadcast that. So we are actually going to bring that, to every country in the world. We've done a test run of this concept. It's not something that's just still in our heads. You go on YouTube, you look for more for music talent search. We actually had over 200 countries participating in the trial run that we did, and I think we had a winner was from Nigeria, followed by the ones from Philippines, and Zimbabwe was number three when we did the test run. So now we are ready to push forward and do the Music World Cup in 2024, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Wow, that is an amazing idea. And
Thank you.
I really hope everything works out. And also, when it comes to sponsorship as well, good
Mhm.
partnerships because you can't do
Exactly,
it on your own. So,
obviously.
yeah. Okay,
Look,
so,
what we've done is that we are actually going to open bids. It is starting next year, for
okay.
countries to bid to host the Music World Cup, and then we are also going to open the platform for companies, stations, like yours and other TV stations, radio stations to partner with us, and then we publicize the Music World Cup, to different nations around the world. So there's room for partnerships. even with the corporate world, the whole package is there. So it's something to look forward to, definitely.
Okay, thank you
Hmm.
so much for that intel.
Hmm.
I hope we are all hearing this and will tap in into this marvelous idea, marvelous dream in come 2024. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
that, Q. Thank you
Hmm.
for sharing your life experiences, be it at personal level, and when you're also generalizing some of the issues that artists are facing. Thank you for
Hmm.
being honest as well on the show.
Hmm.
Thank you for taking your time. I know maybe you could be dreaming of
Yeah, of course.
yeah, you could be dreaming of your loved ones, but you took time to come in on the show and discuss some of the issues that are affecting us as a nation, affecting us as a continent, and also throughout the world. Thank you for coming in on the show
Mhm.
today. Do you have anything you want to say before we close down the show?
It was a pleasure being on this show. Thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you to everyone from your station, and to everyone who took time to watch this show. Listening to the things that we're discussing. I always appreciate people that take time out of their busy schedules to say let's watch, share ideas. Anyone who wants to contact us is free to do so, via Instagram. Instagram, it's Q Montana Official. You can follow me there, inbox me, it's fine. The Facebook as well, it's Q Montana Official. Same as Twitter, and all of these social media accounts that we have, platforms rather. So please get in touch. Share the music. Feel free to also view our music on YouTube. There's a lot of music that's there. You just look for Q Montana, QUE Montana. So yeah, you get our latest music there, our videos there. We're actually working on new videos for the new album, so you'll be able to get that as well.
Okay. Thank you for that, Q. Thank you,
Mhm.
thank you, and thank you. All right.
You're welcome, Limbe. Yeah.
Okay. So this was the African Duchess Show with your host, Rubidzai Zopa from Zimbabwe in Southern Africa. Um, thank you all to our viewers and the people who were commenting in the chat room. Thank you. And we'll meet again tomorrow for another exciting episode on the African Duchess Show. Hopefully, we'll have Q coming in from time to time, because I hope because I'm sure you can all attest that he's quite an intellect, and also he knows his stuff quite well, and he knows who he is as a person, and that is the change we want to see in Africa. We need to have people, we need to have artists, we need to have businessmen, um, who know who they are in the community, who appreciate others, and who see the relevance in bringing up other people. And I would like to commend him on that, because from his responses, you can tell he's quite a humanitarian. He's not self centered, he's not selfish, but he's someone who wants to see and appreciate goodness coming out of other people. Thank you for that as well, Q.
Mhm.
As we close down the show, good night to everyone. Good night to everyone, and good morning to some people who are waking up. I understand we have people from all over the world. Good day to other people as well. But from me and my team, from me, Zimbabwe, from me in Southern Africa, good night. We'll meet again tomorrow at 10 p.m. for another episode on the African Duchess Show. And also we have Q coming in, like I was saying, again, maybe next week or in the weeks to follow. So thank you for tuning in. And don't forget to follow Q Montana on his Instagram page, on his Facebook page, on Twitter, and all other social media platforms, as he was saying. And also follow his music, listen to his music. He's quite a good artist. So follow him, listen to him as we are on the move of supporting local talent, be it in Zimbabwe, local talent, be it in Africa. Thank you for tuning in on the show. Um, bye bye. Bye, Q. See you.
Thank you, Rumbi. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Yo, what's up? Yeah, I'm just waking up. Alright, give me a minute. Yeah, so, what's good, man? I had a late night last night, so. You okay? You in my show night, I know show that you show right. Think when you're coming on, think when you're coming on. You in my show night, I know show that you show right. Think when you're coming on, think when you're coming on. Thinking all of it's not going nowhere. You're thinking about it right now. You could die to my own say, and that's all that I wanna do. Simple twice, simple time, I can know it. Poco time, so in your eye. Did find me, but that's all that they gonna do. Please don't do this, shawty. Please don't do this, shawty. I hate every time when we do this, shawty. And you will see what Toddy, and you will see what Sammy. I hate every time when we do this, shawty. Shemoyo devedu, cheroti kabakona na devedu. Shemari da zibuze, yeze banodana na zibuze. Shemaku wa dekabo, chero wakati taura dekabo. Shaneta dibuze, jago mote wa moja dibume. You and I shorty, I know show that you shorty. Think when you're coming on, think when you're coming on. And you and I shorty, I know show that you shorty. Think when you're coming on, think when